Sure heard a bunch about you. See, I was a friend of your dad's. We were in that Hanoi pit of hell over 5 years together. Hopefully, you'll never have to experience this yourself, but when two men are in a situation like me and your dad were for as long as we were, you start to take on certain responsibilities of the other. If it had been me who had not made it, Richard Coolidge will be talking right now to my son, Jim. The way it worked out is I'm talking to you. Butch, I've got something for you. This watch I've got here was first purchased by your great-grandfather during the First World War. It was bought in a little general store in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was made by the first company to ever make wristwatches. See, up till then people just carried pocket watches. It was bought by a private doughboy, Orion Coolidge, on the day he set sail for Paris. This was your great-grandfather's war watch, and he wore it every day he was in the war. And then, when he'd done his duty, he came home to your great-grandmother, took the watch off his wrist, put it in an old coffee can, and in that can it stayed until your grandfather, Dane Coolidge, was called upon by his country to go overseas and fight the Germans again. This time they called it World War II. Your great-grandfather gave the watch to your grandfather for good luck. Unfortunately, Dane's luck wasn't as good as his old man's. Dane was a Marine, and he was killed, along with all the other Marines at the Battle of Wake Island. Your grandfather was facing death, and he knew it. So, none of the other Marines had any illusions about getting out of the island alive. So, 3 days before the Japanese took the island, your grandfather asked a gunner on an Air Force transport named Wanagi, a man he'd never met before in his life, to deliver to his infant son, who he'd never seen in the flesh, his gold watch. 3 days later, your grandfather was dead, but Wanagi kept his word. After the war was over, he paid a visit to your grandmother, delivering to your infant father his dad's gold watch. This watch. This watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down over Hanoi. He was captured and put in a Vietnamese prison camp. He knew that if the gooks ever saw the watch, it would be confiscated, taken away. The way he saw it, this watch was your birthright. He'd be damned if any slopehead's gonna put the greasy yellow hands on his boy's birthright, so he hid it. The one place he knew he could hide something is 5 long years he wore this watch up his. Then he died of dysentery. He gave me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass for 2 years. And then, after 7 years, I was sent home to my family. And now, little man, I give the watch to you.